The over-the-counter OTC inventory is shrinking, so exchanges, big holders, and any extra OTC inventory will be the only places desks and ETFs can get more XRP. In the US main market, they won't be able to get it from Ripple's corporate or escrow stash. What the judge did has already been talked about. The judge said that Ripple could not break Section 5 again in the same way by selling XRP straight to institutions without first registering or having a good reason. This means that Ripple would not be able to do these kinds of direct assignments with institutions again. This is something Ripple could ask the SEC to let them do. Do you agree that we really hope they don't? We don't want these over-the-counter OTC desks to be able to buy XRP that has been lodged. This is only happening in the US. I'm not sure if Ripple can sell to, say, a branch of one of these banks in Europe or somewhere else so they can buy something and then bring it back to the US. I'm not sure. I think that's a question for someone who knows a lot about stocks. Could you email me if there are any lawyers in the room who deal with money? I'd really like to understand this better. Most likely, you know a lot more than I do, but I think you get where I'm coming from. Anything that tells you something is useful. Thanks. Then why doesn't Ripple Prime fix this? Ripple Prime is a place where you can buy, sell, and exchange digital currencies like XRP. Ripple made it and runs it so that US institutions can get over-the-counter OTC, spot execution, clearing, security, and other services. With Ripple Prime, Ripple can sell XRP to large buyers from its own fund or from escrow. Ripple still sees this as their main sales to institutions. In other words, the Howey order issues are still there. Adding a middleman to the deal doesn't change who is issuing the money or what the money is used for. This is seen as meaning that you do need these ETF sellers buy on the open market. That's how we get to that thought about Shane Ellis, right? On the market, you only have $3 or $4 million to buy or sell things. Now 10, 20, or even $50 million comes in. The price will have to go up then. That's what a lot of people who own XRP are betting on and hope will happen. Ripple Prime can still be used to move money around the secondary market. It links users to swaps, over-the-counter, OTC desks, and other third-party liquidity providers. However, it can also use Ripple Prime to get rid of its own XRP. Oh my friend, there's so much going on. You need to do it. Things are going pretty well. Then there's what Ripple might still be able to do. That's interesting. Ripple could still do anything that had to do with XRP after the finding and the settlement. They are going after Ripple's institutional offers that were not registered but met the investment contract test. It's still a choice for them to use registered offerings or Titan scope exemptions, Reg D or Reg S, if regulators agree. Some news sources say that Ripple was given permission to raise money from qualified investors. However, this doesn't mean that banks can start buying XRP again, so it's not like Ripple has let everyone restock their OTC desks. That sounds good to me. If I learn anything new, I'll let you know right away. Where does the OTC desk go for XRP? Due to the way Ripple is officially set up, ETF institutions can't buy XRP from the company itself. Instead, they have to get it from the open market. There is a good chance that Ripple has deals with businesses in places other than the US. That is fine with me. They can sell to those institutions, and those institutions can then go back to the market and sell to the ETFP providers. As I already said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just letting my thoughts out right now. Today, market experts talked about ways to get XRP that are likely to work. They said that exchanges, based on what Grok says, BlackRock and Fidelity are now filing for spot XRP ETFs. This is why CoinShares is pulling their spot XRP ETF filing. What's going on here? What do the facts say? What do people think? I'll tell you everything you need to know right now. Let's begin right away. This is Andersex. It is said by Grok that BlackRock and Fidelity are going to file an XRP ETF soon. What do you think? Today is November 28th, as it says. We are going to record this on Friday. It's coming out on Saturday morning. When CoinShares first put in its S1 for the XRP ETF, it was taken back. The deal was never really done because of STC Rule 4.77, which says that no shares were sold. It's likely that the market is already full of big companies like BlackRock, which is said to be filing soon and focusing on their merger with NASDAQ. This takes them out of the race. Still, it's not seen as a bad sign. Better people can now join, and you can still file again under fast-track rules. A lot of accounts on X saw this because of this. This is Deanna telling you that CoinShares did something big and took their XRP ETF off the market for good. This is what it means. I don't think so. To be clear, CoinShares got back their whole US XRP ETF file today, not slowed down or stopped all the way through, and no companies do sneaky withdrawals when they file under the new fast track rules for the SEC. That doesn't look like one of those "we're done with this product in the US for now" is written on this one. It tells you what people think about Coin. CoinShares might be about to start up their XRP ETF again, but this time with some easy changes. The truth is that their Form RW ends their whole record. Clean up your booth is the same thing in terms of ETF, and tells them that the project is pretty much over as they leave the meeting. Why? The study says that most of the US ETF market is now run by big firms such as BlackRock, Bitwise, and Franklin Templeton Investments. You can't make a lot of money and the competition costs a lot. It has changed its mind about what it wants to do and will now focus on merging with NASDAQ and other things. That's what the tale says. After that, I tried to be sure of this. It is true that CoinShares wants to start an XRP ETF. That's what we know to be true right now. Along with a form filed with the SEC on November 28th and marked RW, CoinShares asked for a full refund. It wasn't a mistake. They didn't mess up any papers. They took back everything. It's done. Thanks for buying things is over. Crypto news and posts on social media that say CoinShares has finally filed the XTF are in line with the notice of withdrawal. That is exactly right. People now want to know if BlackRock and Fidelity are really going to put out a spot product. Grok says this based on what it says. Don't forget that AI learns from people like you and me. People always type and share things on it, and AI doesn't always share correct information. It's safe to say that nothing will happen until we get a register form from BlackRock or Fidelity. In that case, I can only say that nothing is going on. To give you an idea of how big CoinShares is, it is in charge of digital assets worth between $7 billion and $10 billion USD right now. A number of its most popular spot-style crypto ETPs have grown to be worth billions of dollars. This is true whether you look at the live dashboard or the higher number that was shown in his 2025 US listing papers. So, the CoinShares foreign assets that are being taken care of. Here is the list of funders and the tools you can use to get going. This is the number that's different from each other, 7 to 10 billion bits of information can be seen in two places and on two different things. What's the deal? And it's possible that one of these was filed earlier this year. Since then, or when this was first, it gives you access to Bitcoin that is backed by real money through the actual Bitcoin ETP that the coin shares. It has grown to be the largest physical Bitcoin ETP in Europe in terms of assets under control. And it says that funds worth about $8.9 billion are being tracked. A lot of what CoinShares has here seems to be linked to just one ETF. In April 2020, CoinShares physical XRP ETP and 100% physically backed XRP will begin. 2021 says the cash they are in charge of are worth around $245 million. It's very interesting to me that this thing is sold in Europe. There are more XRP things in the US than in Europe, so they might be able to make more money. That's why Chad brought it up too. We can say for sure that this is true. Spot XRP ETF applications are through the roof because businesses need more legal help. XRP is better than other altcoins because it has a strong market system. In the end, here is some extra knowledge. There were 6.7 million in Franklin Templeton in the morning. Canary Capital gave you $599 million, and Bitwise gave you $546 million. The big news is that the 21-share US XRP ETF will start trading early next week. This will make demand even higher. Today is Black Friday, so lots of people are out and about. It seems like shopping and family time are more important to them than this. People who know a lot about XRP would put this first, and so should everyone else. Let's say that everyone in the world learned how important DLT and blockchain are to the new banking system. It shouldn't be too hard, right, to give people a light bulb moment. You probably saw a movie along the way that really interested you and made you want to find out more. You might think that a billion other people would feel the same first-time way you did. Which person made the first XRP video I saw? That video changed my life. Right then and there. Also, think about how many of you are the same way. Find out more about how much XRP we've seen in trade balances. It's about 4.2 billion. Remember that you could talk for some of this XRP. It's hard to tell what's available and what's already been taken because the money is spread out in many wallets. You can see Coinbase, Binance, and all the other wallets on the Ripple or XRP rich list, right? It then says, tomorrow we'll take more XRP off the market. A net flow of 25 million XRP shows that there was trade here. Things are getting pretty exciting. To be sure, I'm looking again to see how much demand there is for all of our XRP goods and how many shares have been sold. I'll show you some more things now. XRP is being bought by many of these ETF sources from over